Hi, welcome to the Emergency Committee, Wednesday the 22nd of April, 2 o'clock, in the Council Chambers at Salmon. I apologise in advance because I suspect we're going to have difficulties with the technology. We are late starting because of difficulties with the technology, but I hope that this will enable people to view. We are filming it and it will be put on the website as soon as the committee is over. Welcome to this meeting of the Emergency Committee. In accordance with the 2020 coronavirus regulations, this meeting is being held remotely to facilitate attendance and enable consideration of important matters during the current COVID-19 situation. For clarity, all members of the committee joining in remotely are still able to contribute and vote on any matter. I would ask all attendees tuning in to mute their microphones unless they've been invited to speak by the chair. If anyone wishes to speak, please send a message using the message icon at the bottom left of the Skype screen, indicating that you wish to speak. When you are finished speaking, I will invite you to turn on your microphone at the appropriate point. When you finish speaking, please remember to turn your microphone off. Following questions and a debate, in order to make a decision on the item, the Chief Executive will do a roll call asking committee members whether they are for, against, or wish to abstain. Please note this meeting will be available to view by members of the public, and the press are allowed by law to film, audio record, take photographs, blog or tweet at this meeting. I would ask anyone who is recording to avoid any disruption to this meeting and to avoid recording members of the public. If you do record members of the public, there is the potential for civil action against you by anyone who has not given their permission to be recorded. Now that we've received guidance on holding remote meetings, I intend to commence regular meetings of the Cabinet to enable decision making to continue during these uncertain times. Dates of future meetings will be made available on CBIS. At the beginning of this meeting, I would like to pay tribute to Councillor Jeff Lewis and his commitment to the people of Wednesbury and Sandwell as a whole. He is known to many as Grandad Wednesbury, and being aged 88, he was our oldest councillor. Councillor Lewis sadly passed away on Friday the 3rd of April after a short illness, although he had not been fully well for some time. I am told his passing was very peaceful and he was with his family, and his family have taken great comfort in this. He leaves behind his wife Beryl, his 2 sons and 3 grandchildren and their partners. Jeff was dedicated to Wednesbury and was elected in 1991 to represent the Friar Park ward, making him one of our longest serving councillors. He served as Mayor of Sandwell for the term 2009-10 with Beryl as his Lady Mayoress. During his term as Mayor, Jeff raised almost £11,000 for his chosen charities, which were NHS Coronary Care Unit and the British Heart Foundation. Throughout his years as a councillor, Jeff was chair of many committees: Ethical Standards and Member Development, Ethical Standards Subcommittee, Wednesbury Town Scrutiny Panel, 6 Town Scrutiny, to name just a few. He was also a member of many other committees, including General Purposes, Joint Consultative Panel, Scrutiny Panel, Remunerations Committee, and despite his failing health, he was attending meetings until he became ill in December of last year. Jeff was also the director of the Black Country Groundwork Trust and Groundwork Prosper Limited, and a board member for Samuel Homes. He also worked for Midland County's Dairy, and he was a washing machine engineer for Hot Point. He was passionate about education, and he worked with many schools in the borough. He served as governor at Wood Green Academy. He was also a great supporter of Little Watch, and he joined them in many, many campaigns. Ask anyone about Jeff, and the same words are always repeated. True gentleman, impeccable manners, supportive, genuine, polite, respectful, humble. The list could go on. Time and again, people use these words or variations to describe him. We will all miss Jeff very much indeed, and we are extremely sad that we were unable to attend his funeral yesterday due to the difficult times we find ourselves in. Jeff was incredibly supportive as a council colleague, and he was greatly respected by his peers for his continued work, not just for the ward he represented, but for all and across the political spectrum. The family have informed me they wish to arrange a memorial service for Jeff when the time allows for this to take place, and we will of course fully support them and look forward to celebrating Jeff's amazing life and the magnificent public service that he gave. Our thoughts are with his family at this very sad time. Could I ask everyone to please stand and join me in a minute's silence for Jeff? Thank you. Can we have apologies for absence? We received apologies from Councillor Moore. Can we confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 23rd and 25th of March as a correct record, please? Yeah. We have no additional items of business today. Members to declare any interest in matters to be discussed? No. Agenda item number 5, COVID-19 response update. Can I ask directors to present their respective reports in turn? Can the Director of Prevention and Protection present his report on the resilience plan?
Thank you, Leland. As you'll recall, at the last meeting we presented the Council's resilience plan, outlining the key objectives and actions we've implemented to respond to the coronavirus outbreak. To enable us to ensure that this remains effective in the evolving challenges faced by our residents, businesses and staff, we've implemented a governance framework which ensures that we will effectively monitor the delivery of the existing plan and identify any new issues that need to be included within the plan from the time of now. We are also actively monitoring the impact that the outbreak is having on services, staff and the community, particularly where we're currently unable to deliver our business as usual operations. In addition to this, we're also identifying any lessons learned that are emerging so that we can utilise these positive effects in the future. The report outlines how we're undertaking these activities with more depth. It is important for us also to develop this understanding of the impact currently being had on the work, as this will support us to move much more effectively into the recovery and develop an effective plan. And whilst it might appear premature to be talking about recovery at a time when rates of infection and mortality are so high, it is of key importance that when the appropriate time comes, we're able to move out of this crisis in a coordinated way, which gets vital services up and running quickly and focuses on delivering the key priorities of the Council, which may have been negatively affected during this period. We therefore intend to come back to subsequent meetings of this committee with more detailed feedback on this work, which helps us to understand how the pandemic has affected existing work and change the risks we face as an organisation, as well as beginning a discussion on how we move out of this phase of the outbreak and plan for the future.
Thank you. Can I ask members if they have any questions or issues that they would like to raise? Thank you. Can I ask the Executive Director for Neighbourhoods to present her report on the support to elderly and vulnerable residents, please?
Thank you. The report that I'm setting out is how the Council has responded to supporting vulnerable people in our communities who are unable to leave their property due to the increased risk if they were to contract COVID-19. And just to set out that the government has identified a number of people who they class as those needing to shield, and have identified and written to those people to ask them to shield for 12 weeks. We have been provided with a list of those requiring to shield, but what we've also identified as a local authority that whilst that includes a number of people who are vulnerable, we not identify everybody in the area who may be vulnerable or who may require support during the crisis. So we therefore identified a vulnerable risk group to sit alongside those. The vulnerable risk group we identified using information from across the council, including also care, revenues and benefits, neighbourhoods and communities. And we've identified those by age group, location and specific vulnerability. The way that we've communicated with those on the shielded list and also the wider list of those identified as vulnerable is we have actually communicated with every household, so every single resident in Sandwell, advising them of an emergency contact number. We've identified a number of staff from across the council who've worked to contact both groups to see if there's any need for practical support, any food prescriptions or any other type of support. And where we haven't been able to contact those people by telephone, we have carried out a door knocking exercise, often visiting a number of times, clearly carrying out social distancing to see if these individuals need support. Where it's been identified that people do need support, they've been referred to a central hub who are then able to arrange for food package and household essentials. And the way that we've been able to manage this, we've set up a food hub at Tipton Sports Academy with 60 employees who have been redeployed voluntarily. And to date, we're just about up to 3,000 parcels that we have actually sent out to a number of individuals who've identified themselves as needing extra support. This has included the elderly, vulnerable families, those identified by Children's Services and the Children's Trust, and also those who are homeless or at risk. We've also been working with our voluntary sector partners, particularly through SCBO, to try to help people link up to the volunteer scheme. And already 70 volunteers have identified and being placed and are supporting people through a good neighbour scheme or through community offer. We're presently contacting those who have received emergency supplies, and many of those have asked to be linked to the friendly scheme also. I think the key risks which I've identified in the report, the key risks I would highlight to the emergency committee is that whilst we've made every effort to contact as many people who we identify as shielded or vulnerable, and also visited houses where people have not answered the telephone, there is also always a danger that some may be uncontactable and may not receive support. And this is something we try to minimise, but it is still a risk. There are further risks about supplies of the food hub and also making sure that our residents and volunteers stay as safe as possible and that they fully understand the extent of what the volunteer offer is. Further risks are around residents not responding to road operators, reporting to me from the council, and this is something that we highlight via social media. So the next steps are that we're looking to make sure that the support pathway is fully integrated, that volunteers are helping where they can, and that we continue to monitor the referrals into the offer, and that we continue conversations with vulnerable people and identify as many as possible who will continue to need the emergency aid. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or issues that you want to raise? Well, I just would like to say a huge thank you to all the people that are volunteering to be redirected to the areas where we need them. And the amazing efforts that people have gone to make sure that our residents are safe. So I think if you could send thanks to all of the staff, wherever they're working, whether in the front line or behind the front line. Actually, I'm immensely proud of the staff in Sandwell Council and the voluntary sector in Sandwell who are working together so fantastically to try and reach everybody that we need to. So thank you. Could I ask the Director of Prevention and Protection to present the report on adult social care?
Thank you. Obviously, picking this one up in the absence of stewards. So the report that committee has been provided with outlines an update on the impacts of the virus outbreak on adult social care, which I'm sure everyone's obviously aware is at the centre of responding to this crisis. The report outlines where we've made changes to our internal and externally provided services in line with guidance from public health in respect of social distancing and ensuring we can do as much as possible to reduce the risk of transmission between staff and people using our services, as well as ensuring we maintain as much resilience as possible to enable the continued delivery of key frontline and social care services. The report also highlights the impact of legislative changes on the ethical framework for adult social care and how we deal with discharges out of hospital. There are two main sections in the report that I'd just like to draw people's attention to, the one on Care Act easements and the one on PPE. So firstly, in respect of Care Act easements, these are a range of provisions outlined within the Coronavirus Act that local authorities can introduce when the workforce is significantly depleted or demand on adult social care increases to an extent that it's no longer reasonably practical to comply with Care Act duties. And these are listed as points 8 within the Care Act easements section of the report. The need to implement easements has to be considered on a staged basis, which determines how current practice and processes can be adapted to respond to the pressures being experienced, right through to the full implementation of the easements available. I'm aware that the report suggests the endorsements being sought to implement a full range of easements to be implemented. However, this is not the case. The report is actually requesting endorsement for the critical social worker and director of adult social care to implement a process which enables them to adapt the range of easements as required in line with current guidance and in consultation with the cabinet members to help developers. So apologies for any confusion on the way the content of the report has been presented. In respect of PPE, I'm sure everybody will be aware, both from local and national media, that the sourcing and provision of PPE to keep frontline workers is a major issue at present. I want to ensure the committee that we have processes in place to ensure that we are pursuing all possible avenues available to us to source the quantity of PPE that we require across the council as a whole, and we are monitoring our stock levels on a daily basis. This remains an ongoing challenge due to issues such as changes in infection rates and changes to the guidance on the usage of PPE, which continually alter our requirements for PPE significantly. We also need to be mindful of the need to support our externally commissioned providers as well, and the impact this demand could have on PPE stock levels right across the board. Therefore, we are complacent and we are making continued efforts to ensure our PPE supplies are sufficient to get us through the coronavirus.
Do we have any questions or issues people would like to raise? Are we in agreement with the recommendations? Thank you. Can I ask the Executive Director for Children's Services to present a report on children's services and safeguarding, please? No, I can't hear. Yes, that's better.
Thank you. The report first of all sets out a range of guidance that has been published with the Department for Education over the last few weeks, and actually since writing this report, there have been further announcements around the extension of eligibility and support for childcare providers. So we have a regular meeting with the DfE 2 or 3 times a week, so we can make sure that first of all we properly respond to the guidance that's been issued, but also that we can raise questions to the DfE when in the lack of understanding around policy, local responses that are required. That meeting with the DfE has allowed us to include Ofsted once a week, Friday meeting, so that they also ensure that we're meeting all of that statutory requirements. The safeguarding partnership has been really wonderful. All of the partners coming together weekly, and we've created a joint business continuity plan, and that's making sure that all providers and each other really looking out for vulnerable children. What I can tell the rest of the committee is that we have a really good system in place whereby all agencies are meeting together, identifying vulnerable children, making sure that they all get a well check. And this now also includes the 446 children, the large children there. The chief executive of the trust joins in daily different meetings to make sure that we fully join up as possible children's services. So the key issues are set out in the report, and most of the conversation around children's services actually are around what they have to say. We're managing our services, even with reduced capacity at the moment, and they're experiencing any specifically like at the moment, but there is real concern around what people are hitting at the moment and now a surge in contact and referrals, basic cases we start to be practicing for the life care that looks like. And so the next step's really to make sure that all children have the same goal to make sure that their education requirements and how to use with the aid partners to make sure that we're freedom and quality
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Any issues? Okay. I mean, I've got a couple of questions. I mean, I cannot believe the list of documents of advice that officers have to keep up with. It is quite extraordinary. That must be, I have in front of me, I think a list of something like 17 or 20 different, so that must be difficult, changing rapidly. I wanted to question about this. You mentioned 446 children on the shielded list.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where that shielded list had come from.
It comes from the NHS, Peter. So the NHS provides a list of all shielded people in the borough, and we've been able to extract from that children under 18, actually 466. So we've been able to extract the children under 18 and make contact with those families.
Okay, thank you. Everyone happy to move on? Thank you. Surgeon, what have you done? You appear to be dominating the room, Surgeon. Oh, and now it's David. Can I ask the Director from Law and Governance and Monitoring Officer to present his report on registration services, please?
Thank you, Chair. The report before you focuses on registration services, which essentially consists of current services, the registrar office, and breeding services. In relation to the current service, there has been a significant increase in the number of pets referred to the common country, as has been expected. In response, the area coroner for that country is now working on a full-time basis in support of our senior coroner. With the consent of the chief coroner, the jury and other heavily attended inquests have been adjourned until social distancing measures have been relaxed, and whilst in some cases may lead to a slight delay to funeral arrangements, the service is fully operational and is coping well with the increased demand. That demand is being monitored on a daily basis, and the senior coroner and the private houses coroner team have put in place the mitigating measures to ensure that we continue to manage that demand effectively. With regards to the registrar office, in line with the new legislation that has been in relation to the coronavirus Act 2020, it has been necessary to suspend several services that would ordinarily be provided by the registrar office team. All ceremonies have been put on hold, as well as birth registrations and also the marriage ceremonies.
Connie, you take yourself off.
Can everyone hear me now?
We can certainly
See
see it.
you.
I'll put them on when we get feedback.
I think your service is all right.
Is this okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, would I have for me just continue where I was in terms of the registrar office? So, a number of ceremonies have been put on hold in relation to birth registrations and registers of marriage appointments, and the reception end of the registrar office also have been close to the public. So, all resources from the registrar office are now being effectively directed to the management and processing of death registration following the changes that have been introduced. With regards to grievance services, in a similar way, the new legislation and subsequent new regulations have identified the need to adjust the level of burial information related services to the public. To account for social distancing, numbers committed to 10 funeral services have been reduced to immediate family to a maximum of 10 persons. And the layout in the Victoria chapels have been adjusted to ensure compliance with social distancing measures. Just an update with regards to the opening of our cemeteries in Victoria. In the summary report that we've written, our cemeteries in Victoria were closed, however, last Friday we did make a decision to open those, and that was subsequently followed by government last Saturday to also recommend that communication. So we are compliant with those obligations. There is, in addition to that, a regional wide protocol that's been developed across the region, and the local councils have subscribed to, which are introducing that as effectively as we can to ensure that there is a consistent approach across the region. There has been a need to suspend certain discretionary services related to things like memorial conferences, recycling of ashes and patriot waste, and those obviously the waiting areas are necessary. So the service has seen an increase in demand for burial information, and we have increased the number of slots that are available to meet the increasing demand, and will continue to each day. The service does operate on 7 days a week basis to ensure that days are in addition to that, the Standing Council was also appointed the lead authority for delivering the additional storage facility at the International Airport, to say that the facility became operational properly once the years in the airport, and will continue to see the oversight of that particular facility along with other companies and people. So the next steps very much is to continue with the approach that has been taken, roll out the mitigating measures to meet demand, and there are other additional mitigating measures that we can deploy if we need to, such as additional staff to assist with any previous demand that we may have, as well as also continue to see effective operation of the facility.
Do we have any questions or issues from members? Thank you. Can I ask the interim director HR to present a report on supporting employees, please?
As we look at we're going to, for example, all of our employees pay, making sure that we can stay safe and we continue to provide the significant range of services that we do. What the report does is outline some of the support, advice and guidance that's going out to employees at this particular point in time. We have an employee communication process which sits primarily either on the intranet or on web pages for employees who don't have access on a regular basis to the intranet, that answers the frequently asked questions. So from a range of subjects, from issues around holiday pay through to personal protective equipment and back again. And that's updated on a very regular basis to make sure that we are absolutely providing employees with the most recent advice and information. We talk to the trade unions on a daily basis. We have a slight meeting with all of the trade unions, so agreeable and implication trade unions, to talk to them about issues that are particular importance at that moment in time. The reason for meeting with them daily is so that we can hear what's important both to them but to their members, and we can respond to it and tackle We did receive a specific request from GMB to pay all of our frontline workers an additional £100 a month on their for the next 2 months. We did consider that request, but felt that it wasn't appropriate at this moment in time either to single out a particular group of employees, or in fact to pay something on top of the salary that was available for the job at that point in time. Although we did respond by saying that we absolutely understood the vital role that all of our employees play, and that we would want to review our position and consider whether there was somewhere recognising that with great work and choices that we want to get outside that particular situation. We've been deploying staff across the organisation in areas where they're not business critical, and areas that are business critical. Where we're doing that, we are providing staff with training in that particular work. We're providing any personal protective equipment that might be needed. Some of those deployments have been on a short-term basis, so we have a number of employees who were working looking at the people to find out whether they needed any support. Others have been a longer-term movement of people from one area to another. That's done on a voluntary basis. It's done working jointly with the employees, with their line managers, and with the trade unions. We're monitoring absence levels to make sure that we understand how many of our employees are currently off work at the moment, either related to coronavirus or as a result of other absence. And that enables us to understand where we might have particular challenges coming in terms of being able to continue to provide services in those areas. And then we can look to redeploy people. Paragraph 2.5 of the report identifies and discusses the health and safety advice that is being provided to management employees across the organisation. In particular, it draws members' attention to the important role that this assessment process plays in managing any current or potential future liabilities that we might have, either in terms of our public liability or in terms of employer liability claims. And the importance of making sure that we keep our workers and the people that they're providing services to safe. There's then just a further couple of areas, one around the wellbeing support that's going out to all employees. We're really conscious that it is a very different way of working for a lot of people, and that does present challenges to individuals, and people are responding to that in different ways. So we are constantly updating the support set for people's mental health and well-being, even for personal sessions, for the assistance programme, but they're also training and e-learning that's available, and continuing to access that processing. We have a range of options. And obviously we have a significant amount of our workforce now working from home, and we've updated our guidance around clean working, smart working to reflect the importance of people to take the training that we need to do that assessment.
Thank you for that. Can I ask the Director of Governance and Monitoring Officer to present his report on decision making and governance, please?
Thank you, Chair. This report provides you a very brief summary in relation to the regulations that came to force of April. I will be brief in relation to this agenda item because there is a specific item on your agenda today, on the agenda item 6, relating to the regulations. In short, flexible arrangements that have been introduced pursuant to arrangements which enable the council to now put in place alternative flexible remote arrangements for the purposes of holding committee and council meetings, including executive meetings. So the council is now able to determine the day and time of those meetings, or the frequency, legal council meetings without requiring further notice. It also, the regulations also remove the need to hold down council, and that is the position until the 7th of May next year. But it does still allow councils to hold such meetings if the council decides to do so. It does extend any appointments that were due to be made at the council meeting in May to be extended until the next annual council meeting next year. And that applies to all of the appointments that could be part of that next meeting. The regulations allow the local authority to hold virtual meetings that can be through webcasting or through telephone conferencing, and also publish documents electronically rather than having their before inspection at its premises. So the report essentially is provided with some in relation to some arrangements, to set out the minimum requirements that the regulations require in terms of individuals participating in that meeting, needing to be seen and heard, as well as public and the press having access to public meetings in order for that to be engaged in the parliament in a neutral way. The current position is that Data Services, along with our IT colleagues, are currently testing the Microsoft Teams platform, which seems to be the third platform that the local authorities have also tested and seems to be a more stable platform than Skype. We will continue using Skype in the interim as well today, whilst we bring online the Microsoft Teams solution. And we are discussing matters with my office and the councils to ensure that we not only share the learning, but we are taking aware of the cost of the system approach, so that members, particularly who are sitting outside bodies, when they resume their meetings, we just hope that they will be one of the very similar process in terms of management of the going forward. The plan is to roll out a phased approach to the rollout, and we'll be focusing initially on the executive meetings, scrutiny, board meetings, and the regulatory meetings and licensing. And we are actually using the licensing as the part of the new arrangements as we work those through. So the next step will be to bring back a timetable and share that with members if possible, and that we through this committee or through the updates that we provide to ensure members are up to speed in relation to the arrangements, and also bring back to this committee a revised schedule of meetings and meetings, so that once we have certainty in relation to the arrangements, we're able to actually provide certainty around future results of the council.
Thank you. Any questions, issues? No, thank you for that. Can I ask the Service Manager for Finance to present a report on the financial impact of COVID-19, please?
Financial impact at the moment. We're collecting information on pressures on a daily basis. The report that I sent out was the estimated financial impact as at the 15th of April, so it was last week. There has been some movement on the figures, but not a significant amount at the moment. The total pressures, assuming the current circumstances continue 5 months, equate to 23.641 million. 14.5 million of that relates to additional expenditure, and 9.1 related to the loss of income. The main areas of additional expenditure are in adult social care, the temporary mortuary facility at the airport, and in terms of income, the significant areas of car parking and commercial rent income. Obviously, as it's still very early in this crisis, these are really still very high level estimates. There's a great deal of uncertainty around things at the moment. We've been allocated £12.5 million of emergency funding so far, and the government has announced further £1.6 billion funding to be distributed to local authorities, but we're still waiting for details of the allocation. We don't expect it to be the same amount as previously, as they'll be using a different method to allocate that funding. The figures at the moment don't include the potential impact on business rate, council tax and housing rent income, which is also significant. We're waiting until the end of April, to be able to compare the protection rate for April and revise us against this time last year in order to project the potential impact on those. So they have an effect on the question of reporting. So in terms of the next step, we obviously need to know what the potential impact on the council's current savings funds and reserves. When we did the reports council in March, we were at 900 fund reserves to reduce, but that's in line with planned use of the balances. And therefore, we were still expecting our rebalances to remain stable. We did, however, say that we wanted to look at how we can start adding to reserves, which is looking unlikely now. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll be completing the close-down process for 2019-20, and then we'll have confirmation of our general fund balances for the end of 2019-20, and we can then start to look at the impact on the council budget moving forward. So we'll update the Emergence Committee and Cabinet in due course on that.
Thank you. Do members have any questions or issues? I think it is important to note that we need support from the government to help us get through this crisis. And this is not something we are going to be able to manage internally. We will need government support financially to ensure our loss of income and our massively increased expenditure are covered. And I think that's true of every single council in this country, and I hope the government share is shared out on the basis of the level of demand, and the West Midlands in particular has been the greatest hotspot for coronavirus outside of London, and I would want to see the sharing that takes place to take place proportionally along the lines of the demand that the different authorities have faced. Thank you for that. Can members endorse the approach? Thank you. Implementation of the local authorities and police grant panel coronavirus. Flexibility of local authority and police grant panel meetings, England with Wales, Wales 2020. Can I ask the Director of Law and Governance Monitoring to present the report?
Thank you, Chair. As mentioned in the previous item, these regulations introduce flexible arrangements in relation to council meetings, and that work is ongoing in relation to our arrangements. The regulations do make changes essentially to the council's constitution, and where there is a conflict between our constitution and the regulations of justice. This report essentially seeks your approval for myself to put in place necessary arrangements and the requisite changes to our arrangements to give effective regulations and consultation with the members of this committee. And also, importantly, asks that our standing orders 4 and 18 of our constitution be suspended whilst the regulations remain in force. Those standing orders relate to the fact that under our current constitutional arrangements, the meeting will start with 15 minutes of the confirmed start date on the agenda. I think today is a good example where sometimes we may encounter technical difficulty being able to resume those meetings within 15 minutes. So we're asking this committee to suspend those particular regulations the event that we do experience some technical issues, particularly in the initial rollout of the Emergence, it would be a shame that we would have to abandon meetings because we really get a few minutes in order to overcome technical problems. So that specific recommendation is a recommendation through the report. And also sees that I agree that, as I mentioned earlier, a calendar of meetings that is revised, which takes account of the council's normal meetings or committees in order to approve those, in order that we may proceed with further individual items.
Any questions, issues? Okay, everyone in agreement? Is anyone against? Agenda item number 7, rental arrears of the council's commercial portfolio, please. And I ask the Exec Director of Payments to present the report.
The Director of Regeneration and Growth is present the report. If she can
Yes.
The impact of COVID-19, the COVID-19 has a negative impact on the environment of the state and reducing generating income. The report also states authority to not charge rent on market stores. That's when in March. Reflecting the impact of COVID-19 on football markets and the impact on the income of the rural trading. The island measures are to help sustain the community as far as possible during this period, so that they are in a position to reopen and come through the economic recovery post-COVID-19. It is recommended in the report that debt recovery on commercial estate is first until 2020, with monthly reviews thereafter, and that we are authorised to enter into recovery payment plans with payment collaboration today. It's not a task to write off today, but to defer payments and reconcile collection. There are some key risks to this approach. Budget, and secondly, input income would be deferred in line with the repayment plan. It is possible that the increase in bad debt will occur in the event and could work if we not take these measures for consistency. There will also be a loss of income potential from the market. But a large proportion of it is due to guidance on our non-essential levy. So, as I mentioned at the start, we bought this also lot of businesses through this time and will form part of the full potential of providing solutions to this.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or issues today? Thank you very much for that report. Agenda item number 8, decisions taken by the regulatory officers and accordance with European powers. Set out within the report are details of actions taken since the last committee meeting by the leader of the council and the chief officers in accordance with their delegated powers. Can we know the actions, please? And before we close the meeting, people please note that the next meeting of this committee is scheduled to be held on Wednesday, the 6th of May at 2:30. Thank you very much. I apologise for the poor hearing or the poor vision, and I hope in future meetings will have this clear.